Good news in Michigan real estate is that Senate Bill 349 passed through the legislature and will go to the governor's desk for signatures. Actually, it'll hit there May 1st is the plan, I believe. This is a bill that will allow for a later filing deadline for the principal residence homestead exemption, moving that to June 1st, and providing for an additional exemption filing date for winter taxes in November. Now, why this is important is that when a borrower or a buyer is buying a home, if they don't get to file for their homestead exemption, they're going to be taxed as if it were a non-homesteaded property, if that was the rate at which it was being taxed when they purchased it. And this can truly kind of blow up financing, because even though that amount may not be their long-term tax amount, they have to qualify based on being able to pay full non-homestead taxes. Now, another piece of this bill actually breaks out a portion of the taxes, that exempt portion, for bank-owned properties. This would be deemed as if the banks weren't going to have to pay those additional mills. However, they still will. It's just set it up as a different tax. Here's why. If those taxes are paid in the normal fashion, they're going to be included in the qualification for any borrower if the property is not homesteaded. What this does is keeps the onus on the bank that owns a bank-owned property to pay the full share of taxes, but it breaks it out as a separate bank tax. Seems a little bit like sleight of hand, but it was the mechanism that was needed to be put in place so that the bank still paid the non-homesteaded rate, but didn't have to pass that along in the qualification. The ideal solution here will be at some point to be able to do a full proration of property taxes, and so that if they can be filed at a later time during the year, the exemption can. But the mechanism just isn't in place for our local townships and units of government to be able to process those. Sooner or later, someday, we'll get to the point where we can have the technology in place across the state where we can do that and hopefully be able to make property tax exemptions, principal residence exemption, a real-time filing. So there's the good news.